In the last three sessions, we have been understanding what is realizing, what is inner, what is potential. So we should be very clear. That is the beauty of our masters explaining logically to make us understand. We talk of inner and outer. Yes, I can talk of inside the body and outside the body. Consciousness is also outside the body and inside the body also. How can you say the consciousness is outside the body? I see you. When I say I see you, your name in the form is covered by the consciousness going through the mind on your shape. So the consciousness is outside and consciousness is inside. The moment I see the wall, if the wall is not covered by the consciousness, I cannot see it. Then the mind says it is white, it is rectangular, it is square. But, even if the mind says it is rectangular, it is square, consciousness is there. The wall does not say that you have a long beard or you are clean shaved. The wall is not saying. So we have a lot of misunderstanding about inner and so-called outer. So inner, I have started saying that inner, there is a rise in awareness. Now I can separate my mind, which looks at the name in the form, and the consciousness, which I started covering in the last year from the text, which says that you have to not to do the practice. Binary. Do you remember binary, triangular format? So here the master goes slowly. Inner, potential, and potential seed has a potential to become a tree. So go a little deeper. It means potential. An artist has discovering their talent for painting, writing, poetry. A musician, athlete, person overcoming. But here in Eastern wisdom, what we are saying, you have a potential to end suffering. Potential. Artist has a potential. You have a potential. Engineering. Oh yes, you can create something new. We say you have a potential to bring an end to the suffering and awaken to your true nature. You see, understand that clearly. So don't make it so confusing. That spiritual tradition is often confused by a lot of the words, and we say, oh, nothing is happening. Because I don't understand, so I create a false sense of understanding. Yesterday I was talking, that light of, there is, if you see the light and then you are awakened. Come on, it is a light of awareness. It is not the light in the bulb. We are talking of the light of awareness. So the awakening is basically a shift in consciousness. You have a pain. You have shifted it. How you have shifted? You have a recognition that I am not the body. Body has a pain. It is a shift in consciousness. It is like waking up from a dream, starting to question its reality. Why I'm talking of these things, I have started talking. First thing, that you are a great seeker, that is one thing. And second is, I can be aware here and now. I should be aware here and now. Is the monitor aware of me? No. Am I aware of the monitor? Yes. How come that is possible in me and how come it is not possible in the monitor? Oh, it's an objective reality. So you start understanding, and that understanding leads to your awareness. That is what we say that we need. Everyone is self-aware, especially the animals are also self-aware. You show them the stick, they are self-aware, but they cannot reach to the higher awareness. That is the beauty in the we have that edge over the animals. Lion knows their weapon is their paws, big nails, mouth, and canine teeth. And because we have an enhanced self-awareness, I have a pistol, I have a knife, I have a stick. You see, there's so many things. Well, I'm just explaining in a very crude manner. But now apply the same example to my. So it means inner awareness is wider, open, higher. Why it is higher? Because I have a clear perception of the things and events in my life. And that is only possible in the human body. We are not saying that we are greater and stronger than the animals. That is only possible in the human body. That is why we say the human body is capable of awakening, realizing the inner potential. So question is how long I remain as a human being throughout the day when I wake up in the morning until I sleep. That is the problem. I already gave an example of this guy who was sitting in a restaurant and getting. It is an animal awareness. I'm limited. Now I'm confined. I didn't see. So now see that I don't see while sitting in a restaurant. I forget my purpose and then I started looking at those girls with the sensuality. What is this? Is this rise in awareness or is this fall in awareness? It is fall in awareness. But why it is a fall in awareness? Because my mind has limited me to that sensuality. But how come the mind has limited me? Because of the belief, because of the conditioning, because I'm seeking something outside. You see that? I'm seeking something outside. So every master has explained differently that it is a belief, it is a conditioning, it is the past memory. It is, my mind is still not able to understand that the happiness is not outside, it is inside me. So the journey is realizing the inner potential. So it means as long as I will be carried out by my belief, by my conditioning, by my anxiety, by my anger, I cannot find the real self. So I have to get rid of it. To get rid of it, I have to purify the mind. Gita says, you have 6 enemies. So again, it goes back to purely physical. I'm just explaining like any concept of physics, any concept of mathematics. 2 plus 2 has to be 4. It cannot be the 6. 8 divided by 2 has to be 4. It cannot be 3 and 4. It cannot be 3 and 5. So why you talked about 8 divided by 2? Because I have many belief and conditioning. I have to divide it to reach to the 4. Sometime I have to add. So here we are adding these principles to become four. Experiencing a profound sense of the peace and the love and the joy in our daily life is the goal, a profound sense all the time. Is what we say the spirituality. And that is why I changed the title, but yes, we are still covering the 40 steps. What does it mean to realize my true nature? Means a profound sense. And that profound, that is a continuous. When it is a continuity, it means it is my real self. Real self is all pervading. Can I experience at any time in any location? Answer is yes. Why? Because it is me, it is I am. So now you see that why Master says, why is potential often hidden or unrealized? Because of ignorance, because of attachment, because of distraction. We talk and understand that it is because of I have to move from ignorance to wisdom, false to real, but it does not go deeper inside. Intellectually, we unmake it. So I'm opening up in a different way. How can I uncover my potential? So obviously, how it is uncovered? By ignorance and by attachment and impurity, I have to get rid of it. Listening and learning, contemplation and reflection, practice and experience, daily analysis, applying the wisdom, and then you will see. Then you see that lot of words are coming, tapa and titiksha. Tapa is just simply a discipline, self-discipline. Titiksha is an endurance. But why it is a self-discipline? Because the mind impulsively starts running after something because of ignorance. We need a self-discipline. Should make the things very clear. What changes when I realize my inner potential? So again, the master says you will be totally free from the ignorance. Free from the ignorance means free from the suffering, and ultimately you will realize that you are not limited, but you are one eternal whole. Or you can say it is a true happiness. You can say, so how it is going to help me in my professional life? Yeah, it will help you to see the things clearly. You have a failure, you say, okay, let me do it again, without getting into reaction. Resilience, then we say that more positive qualities will come into your mind. Now the mind has become a faithful servant, and that faithful servant will inherit and continue with the qualities. Same thing with the compassion. Buddha says, full of compassion. Yes, that compassion also will come. Realizing inner potential. Realizing inner potential cannot work with the procrastination, with any astrology predicting that what I was in the previous life and what I will be in the next life. No, we are working here and now. We are not working in the future. So the Upanishads deals directly. It says, why you are talking of hell and heaven? It is in the future. You have not seen it. You talk of hell and heaven here. No procrastination. No self-doubt. If you have self-doubt, it is a great obstacle. We start talking negatively to a fear of failure comes. Comparing oneself to other can severely limit our belief. Distraction, fear of unknown, lack of self-care, So you see that these challenges has to go away. And one of the major fears is the fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of the unknown, fear of change, fear of judgment. So these five or six fears causes the anxiety, duality, conflict. And so once we understand the true nature of the fear, we are not at all scared at all. That summary brings us, I summarized almost the last three sessions, and now we will go into the another field of realizing the inner potential. Yes, we have discussed all this, but why we need an awakening and realizing? Why we need an awakening and realization? So we should also understand clearly. No animals need awakening and realization. Why? They don't have that level of self awareness. So that they can see the body, mind objectively. They can see their talents and capacities and limitations objectively. They cannot see it. They cannot see it means that they cannot perceive it through their level of self awareness. And they don't have the same human frame where they can evolve. Otherwise, body of an ant is made up of the same thing, an elephant is made up of the same thing. You see, the body of all the human, all the living organism, more or less is made up of the same thing. It's a different topic that I will cover later, but I'm just giving you an idea that lower self awareness and a higher self awareness has to do with a specific shape, size of the body. Answer is yes. Answer is yes. I can give you a wonderful example of science. Science has achieved in the objective reality. Maybe 100 years or maybe 100, little more than 100 years, we had a huge computer. How much is the space? 20 megabytes. Do you see what is the speed? Oh, you have to keep sitting there. Now I have the biggest computer in my hand, my smartphone. Look at the capacities, the power of operation. So the shape and the size can change the efficiency, can change the. So, yes, because that awareness is the same, real self is the same. But that real self got a bigger opportunity in the human frame to live with the higher awareness in relationship to the world. So there is a tremendous qualitative change in the human consciousness as compared to the animal consciousness. I was looking yesterday at the Discovery Channel that leopard was sitting on a tree which was almost 6 meters high tree. Because I always see everything with reference to the consciousness. So now he was sleeping, he got the smell of the deers and he woke up. He focused on a particular deer and he jumped from that 3 meter, almost how much, maybe 12, 15 feet high. He jumped onto the deer, caught the prey. So that cameraman was saying that, he has trained himself to catch the prey while jumping onto the deer. So he always sits on the same tree that we have been witnessing. Animals, how much they may become capable, they are programmed by the four instincts: food, sex, sleep, safety. They don't have that awareness. We built hospitals, we built universities, we built a lot of things. So if we built outside, and if I see who has basically built it, it is my intellect, and beyond the intellect, it is my awareness. It is the consciousness. Can I understand what is this consciousness? And ultimately, I realize that I'm the consciousness. I'm the real self of the nature of peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. And that is what I am manifesting and expressing by all the inventions. Are you getting at this point? Very human possesses unique qualities: the intellect, self-awareness, and the ability to reflect on their existence. Animals do not have it. Unlike animals, what they do, whose survival instinct dominate. Sex, food, sleep, that's all. But I can understand the meaning, the purpose, and understanding beyond my physical need, and that helps us to find my real self. We are into the second biggest topic, realizing inner potential. Then why? Why awakening is required? And let us see from modern perspective and from the east and west. Did I cover that area? That what happens, the science also discovers that how come my mind goes to a particular pasta and I get a craving, and that craving is associated with a pleasure. So the science says that you have a stimuli. The pasta, you see the stimuli, yes. But why I'm getting stimulated only by the pasta, not by the chicken? Because of my habit. So where is the habit? It is programmed in the brain. So which part of the brain? We say frontal cortex, part of the brain responsible, and there comes the problem with the science. What it says, in the prefrontal, or I would say frontal cortex, use that. So there the consciousness lives. So what about my hand? When I touch it, I also feel conscious here. Oh, so the location of the consciousness is prefrontal cortex? No. It is everywhere. I feel the whole body, I'm conscious. But anyhow, the science says that, the self-awareness and decision-making and reflection, that part is located inside the brain. It means it is the brain, which is gray matter, which has given rise to the consciousness. That is the problem. And that is not only a problem by me or anyone else, that is a problem in fact by many scientists. So there are a group of the scientists, they say no, location of the consciousness is in the front, someone says it is at the back, and someone has a different explanation, so they are confused. We say we are of the nature of the consciousness. Chapter is finished. What about your body? You, body, mind, intellect, ego are all instruments. You are of the nature of consciousness. So, there, to achieve and to discover the real self becomes easy. Science also starts with hypothesis, so we also start with hypothesis. Let us start with hypothesis and prove it that we are the real self. Real self. So the Eastern wisdom emphasizes that you start with the hypothesis that you are of the nature of real self. You prove it that you are not, so it's okay. Then you continue to suffer. Continue to seek pleasure from the world outside. No problem. You are already seeking. We are not holding you. I'm making very, very rational. So Eastern wisdom says, oh, you have a desire to eat the pasta that gives you the pleasure. Why don't you observe and analyze? That you keep on continue eating the pasta and that happiness is reduced. And at the last stage, you say, no, today I'm not going to eat pasta. I will eat something else. It means the pleasure is not there. And it means, but I experience the pleasure and happiness. It means it is, if it is not there outside, it is has to be inside. We simply say consciousness is of the nature of happiness. Where is the problem? There is no problem. But problem comes because the mind is so much habituated, heavily conditioned, it does not want to believe. It continues with the doubt. It does not want to be aware of the experience of the pleasure inside here or somewhere here. Pasta is outside. That level of self awareness, I need that. I miss that awareness. And then I start putting different logic that does not stand anywhere. So we are very clear about it. So you see the perspective from the why we should also understand the perspective from the science. It is easy because so that my mind can remove the doubts. I should get rid of these doubts. If I don't get rid of these doubts, then the problem will continue. But it does not mean that I'm not using, I'm not driving the car, I'm not eating the food. Yes, keep on, continue. No issue. But your perception has changed. The way the leopard sitting there on the tree has only one perception, food. But my perception as a human being can change. I can find out my permanent perception. Animals cannot. It means what? It means there is a shift in perception. What is the shift in perception? That is what the awakening is. Realizing in a potential why we need an awakening, why we need awakening. I need an awakening to continue to live into that state of peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. Can I live in happiness in all the locations? Yes. In all the relationship? Yes. From your side. You are not responsible from the other side. Whatever they do, let them do. So in all the objects, yes. But still, the mind continues with a lot of doubts, and these doubts, because of the belief, because of the conditioning, because of the memory, because of the prarabdha, because of the, and you can continue because of the heavy conditioning. So I'll go into the meditation, and mind is empty. Yes, mind is empty. And if I come out of that meditation, will I reach to that state of awakening? And no. Who will recognize? The thought will recognize. Thought is the product of knowledge. That is why we are talking. That is why the teacher in the Eastern wisdom is talking and talking and talking. Because we have an ability, or you can say we have a capacity for a conscious thought. We have a capacity of self reflection. We have a capacity of a self inquiry, and where the thought plays an important role. Thought means principle, thought means mantra, thought means practice, everything. So the master says the knowledge plus practice will help you. In the beginning, I have a little knowledge, self-discipline, and 99% of the practice. So the teacher goes on explaining all the principles one after the other. The knowledge ratio increases. It becomes 10%, 50%, 100, and when it becomes 100%. No, so we need not to do the practice, because then you no longer remain identified with the doer. You're still active. You are doing everything, but you don't identify with the being a doer and the enjoyer. So 100% is knowledge. What is 100% knowledge? That is pure consciousness. What is pure consciousness? That is the real self. Why you say that? Because the real self has to do nothing. It is not an actor, it is not a doer, it is not an enjoyer. At present, you recognize it is the mind who is thinking, and you recognize I am a thinker. It is the body is doing, and you recognize that you are a doer. Now relate it to the inner, what we say inside and outside, inner consciousness. Inner consciousness means that you are so subtle. Your mind is so subtle, it is subtlest, it instantly recognizes there is no doer and the enjoyer here. That is what happens. So 90%, not now 90%, we need 100%. 100% knowledge of what? That I am the real self. Don't you have 100% knowledge that you are man or woman? Yes, I have it. 100%. And then we explain it that no one is 100% man, no one is 100% women. Then there are other explanations. But one thing is very clear. The same thing becomes clear, that I am the real self. Knowledge, clear. No, but you are teaching. Okay, that is a role I am playing. But I'm a listener. No, I'm a seeker. That is the role I'm playing. No, I'm a husband. Oh, that is a social role I'm playing. Now I'm a businessman. Yes, that is the role I'm playing. Why we need an awakening. That is another answer why we need an awakening, to separate what is false. I have been living with the false and ignorance, whatever you say. Modern science explains that how the brain enables self-awareness Eastern wisdom says that how you discover that real you which is beyond this so-called self-awareness and ego and the falsehood. So Eastern wisdom says it is not about only an intellectual understanding. Then they use another word. There's a direct experience of the real self. So if we are a seeker, we ask, what did you say, direct experience? So is there any indirect experience? All our experiences are indirect. All our experiences are indirect. What you are talking about? Yes, I see you. I'm seeing you, mind going through the eyes and then looking at you. It is only indirect experience. And that is why we have a delusion, the mirage water, the blueness of the sky. Just think. You have to contemplate and reflect in these lessons again and again. And then you say, oh, yes, all experiences are indirect. Yes. Including the sexual pleasure, yes. Including eating the food, yes. Pasta is placed on the tongue, the taste and the smell and the aroma is all done by the sense organs, not by you. Indirect. Really? Indirect. And you are saying direct experience? So, so it means when the role of the sense organs and the mind and the intellect and the false I goes, what is left? Only the real self. You already have a direct experience. Why we meditate? That is why we are moving the mind inside. We say no, role of sense organs done. Thank you. Mind, thank you. Ego, thank you. Past impression, thank you. No, we don't need anything. We reach to the highest point. That is what the realizing inner potential is. So we are using in a language direct that I know myself by myself. Why? Because real self is conscious. Real self is of the nature of knowledge. So I know myself by myself. What is that? Highest level of awakening. What is that state? That is the state of realization. So now you see the language that we use, the direct experience, it has a different meaning. Also, did I transcend the body and the mind? Yes, you already transcended the body and the mind. So normally people understand transcending the mind is something very typical. So they use it. No, I have left the body. My soul went outside. Very good. So soul went outside. You see, that is why, because we don't understand it clearly, that is why we have these problems. That is why hardly few people reach to that state. So we have to be, but mind intellectually, intellect becomes clear, but if you repeat it again and again and again, then you are settled into that state of the consciousness where the consciousness perceives the consciousness only. Why? It is all pervading. That is why it only perceives the consciousness. So you are looking at the monitor, you are perceiving the consciousness plus the monitor. So if you are perceiving me, yes, consciousness plus you with the name and the form. Metaphor to understand. The ocean is there, and the ocean is looking at the wave. So ocean knows that I'm an ocean, infinite. I'm only the water. So that ocean looks at the wave without name in the form. What is left is the water. But we are so much clinging, we are so much deeply attached to the body and the mind. And if someone asks you, don't, the second wave asks the first wave, oh, don't you see that you are an ocean? No, how can I be an ocean? You see that I have the body and the mind. Are you getting it? I have the body and the mind. From the standpoint, the ocean looks at the wave minus name in the form. Why minus name in the form? It appears and it will disappear. Ocean knows it. It means that real self, that pure consciousness knows it. Knows it. What it knows? 66 years old machine, another 5 or 6 years. That's all. Finished. But so that real self knows, is aware that you are all consciousness. You have nothing to do with this, what is constantly changing. But the problem with an individual wave, individual you and me, how can I be that vast, all pervading consciousness? How can I be? You are. Why you are asking how you can be? So the journey from how I can be to you are is what the realization is. Is the realization, you look at it. Oh, I was talking in this way, so that guy said, oh, that makes a sense. I said, the rest is nonsense. We all are living in nonsense. And that is done by self-inquiry. Maharshi Raman, or great masters, Ashtavakra and Vidyaranya and other masters. Self-inquiry is the way. And the one text that we started covering and we left in the middle, he said only the self-inquiry will help you to reach to that state. He lived just around 200 years ago.
Vichar Saga.
Yeah. Just. So our master has to make us understand everything is there. So the master says, you see that? Imagine a bird that has been caged all its life. So the bird does not know its full potential because it has never experienced the open sky. So it will try to explain, try to understand that infinite all pervading consciousness through that case, and his based on his experiences. The master says go beyond your experiences. You have an indirect experiences. You have to understand you have to understand what is direct experience, and then you have to strive for it. Sometimes majority of the people are not able to have a coherent logic, one logic after the other, because it is the entire journey of the Eastern wisdom. Unless I complete all the principles, how can I understand it? There is a quantum physics, and every matter is not the matter, solid, liquid, and gas. It is only the quanta. Unless I understand the entire process, all the principles, then I can make then I change my perception. But my indirect experience that this is solid, but matter, quantum physics says nothing is solid. What are you talking about? No, but I experience. This is your indirect experience. You should have a direct experience. So we use in a different ways, but we are using same thing logically. One thing is very clear.
But what is direct experience? We haven't chance have any direct experience.
Yeah, who is saying this? Mind.
Mind, yeah.
Yeah, and the mind cannot have a direct experience. So let us say goodbye to the mind. And then you have that experience. That is why we say meditation is no mind. Is it possible? Yes, it is 100% possible. In deep sleep, you have no mind. Still, you
But
exist.
if I have any experience in the meditation, it means that I am not rich.
What did you say?
The real self no change. So experience it means change.
Yes, experience means change. So, what we say when we say direct experience, we are trying to help the mind to understand that what do you mean by experience in terms of the thought, feeling, emotions, and sensations. You are not experiencing who is an agent, who is an experiencer. That very experiencer is present in the very experience. You have to extract that. That is the meaning of direct experience. Janaka, I told you the story. He had a bad dream. He became a beggar. He was a king. And then he woke up. Now you see, that is the real question of a seeker. So he asked, what is the truth? This, when I woke up and I am still the king of this kingdom, is this true? Or is what I saw in the dream is true? That will result into direct experience. And the master said, nothing, no, neither this is true nor this is true. You are true. Who you are pure consciousness. And that is your direct experience. That is the way we reach there. Do you see? Can you see that how deeper the question is? The Janka did not ask that out of the two, which experience is true. He did not ask. He questioned both, which one is true? And the answer comes from the master, neither is the true. You saw yourself as a beggar in the dream. That is not true because you woke up. But because you claim this waking world is the real world, it is constantly changing, so it cannot be true. It is the same like a dream state. That dream, you lived in the dream for a few minutes. You are living into the waking world for a few years. You put both of them into the cable, but find out who is the knower of both. That knower of both is the real self. You are the real self. So, that is how our masters say, oh, is that a direct experience you are talking about? Yes. But problem again comes that knower was present in the dream state. That knower is present in the waking state. I don't know anything about the knower. I know only about my indirect experiences. So you have to get rid of them. Both. I cannot explain what I saw in the dream if the knower is not present.
Yes, of course.
The same thing in the waking state also. Oh, then who is this knower? Is that knower in the dream state is different from the knower in the waking state?
Same no.
The same knower. Same knower. Same seer. Oh, same seer. Why don't you start the journey to find the seer. That is what our master is saying. That is what our master is saying. And that is basically the journey of the self inquiry. Self inquiry. Realizing our inner potential. So in that right perspective, we should understand what does it mean to realize our true nature. You pick up any direct or indirect experience, you pick up the knower or the known, you pick up the ignorance and the wisdom, you pick up the false and the real, but then contemplate and reflect. That is where the self inquiry begins. Some people, they brush aside all these logical explanation. Why? Because they have lot of past impressions. So what the past impression does, the past impression do not have a doubt over experiencing the blue light or yellow light or some kind of an energy. Oh, the energy should flow up and down. Then only I will say that I am realized. So they believe more than this, the intellectual clarity, and then they go to that path, and at last they reach here. At last they have to reach here. How many times, I have to see the light. I'm in stretch, see the blue light. Why? Because you are awakened. It will not work. You can realize by self inquiry, or you can realize by having an indirect experience. It's both the same thing. But one takes a lot of time. It wastes you a lot of time. But you have to waste it in order to evolve. That is how everyone is meant for. That is why everyone is different. How can we begin the journey? You tell me what is changed in the Buddha after his enlightenment? Did he have 3 ears? Did he have 3 eyes? Did he have 2 mouths? Did he start eating from somewhere else than the mouth? We don't
Yes.
see that. We don't see that. So we don't see it logically, and then we say, oh, yes, you do it. I'm blind. And that blindness is ignorance. And that is what the master have been saying. And when the master realizes that you don't see it, okay, do the Kundalini meditation, do the mantra, do everything. Do everything you like. And from there, the master says you have to return to the same stuff which we have started. But why you didn't tell me? Because I don't remember. Many people say that I don't know. But you didn't tell me in the beginning. No, I told you in the beginning. People don't realize it because they are overwhelmed with those past impressions, with the wrong thinking. Master is very clear. So see that how we are, if we reflect on the question that who am I beyond my role and identities, it is very clear. I am plus I am a teacher. I am plus I am a man. First, my existence is always available, then only I can explain by adding something. And that I am is the real self. I can see it, I can understand it, but still I don't want to go for it. Why I don't want to go? If I'm not a husband, my honey will do something wrong. So I have to show some power. I identify. What is that power? That is identification. What is that identification? Identification is attachment. So what happens to the attachment? Emotional dependence. Emotional dependence. What happens? Then you have a desire of seeking happiness outside. Now you have forgotten. Your ego has gone. Now you are seeking happiness. Honey, I love you. Yes, you love me. Yes, very good. You love me because I'm seeking happiness. So I have created a delusion myself. Now, do you see that? I have created a delusion myself. And from where the delusion comes? From the ignorance. So if the master says move from the ignorance to wisdom, they are saying right. So this is the process of the self-inquiry. You, you have to do, honey, what I say. Honey, I love you. You see, two parallel. And then we fall. In both the cases, we are already in delusion. We don't recognize it. But why I do it? I'm summarizing in a different way. Why I'm doing it? Because I feel the sense of incompleteness.
Yeah, yeah. Duality and incompleteness.
I don't laugh at myself. I laugh at my honey because I have controlled him or her. Your controlling is foolishness, your foolishness. I don't recognize it. And that is preventing me to realize that knower is still present here. I don't see it. I change the track. And this mind in ignorance changes the track so fast. Why it changes the track? Because I feel change is real. You see? Oh my goodness, you have to. So, our Maharshi Raman, the great master, says, what should I do? Keep on asking the question, who am I? Self inquiry. Who am I? Self inquiry is the way to, to begin the journey